Hello, welcome, guys. It looks like we're live. Hi. Whew, I'm so excited. I want to say, first of all, thank you to all of you guys. It is day 9, and you guys have been joining live every day. There's never been a day that I've gone live and we haven't had people live. And of course, you guys on the replay club, I know, it's 12 o'clock on the East Coast. It's totally different times in other places and people have things going on. So that's all good. I just want to say thank you guys for rocking with me through this series. This was definitely a huge stretch, going live every day for 14 days, and we're over halfway there. And it's been amazing just to see the feedback, your comments, what you've been learning, your questions, like all of that has been great. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm super grateful for it. I also want to say, for those of you guys who've been watching this, please drop your questions in the chat. In 2 days, I'm going to be doing another Q&A. So I would love to see your questions about anything. If you're dealing with a tough challenge in business or client challenge, whatever, please drop your questions. It can be about a past live, right? It can be a question about anything at all. Just drop it in the comments here or in the comment of any other video, and I'll be addressing it on Thursday's Q&A. All right. So to make sure I answer those questions. So I'm really excited about making sure everybody gets the most out of this. For those of you guys who are new to this channel, my name is Faye Shalla. I'm the owner of Statuesque Events. We're an event planning company based in the DC metro area, but we produce events everywhere, meaning we've gone as far north as Connecticut. We've gone as far south as Florida or Texas, right? I don't know which one of those is further. I think Florida, because we were in Key West. We've done events in LA. We've even done events in the Midwest, in Minneapolis, right? We produce events anywhere. We have events coming up in Europe and in the Caribbean, and we love producing modern luxury events for corporations and for nonprofits, and of course for our brides and grooms. Now, this channel is for everybody. So if you're like, wait, I thought this was an event planning channel, I thought I was going to get inspiration from my upcoming event. We got that. We have that all through this channel. So you're in the right place. Still subscribe. Please watch other, you can find that in other videos. But I decided to do this series specifically for event planners because a lot of our event planners are longtime viewers of this channel. So you guys have been rocking with us for years and years and years, watching both the inspirational content and this educational content. So I wanted to do something special. All right. So again, this channel is still for everybody, but this video in particular is for event planners. Anyone's welcome to watch, but this video in particular is for event planners, especially event planners who are already in business, already making money, and are ready to elevate to the next level. That's six-figure business, that's building a team, that's increasing your profit to the point that you can pay yourself enough to go full-time, right? Which we're going to talk about today. And so that's what we do in our coaching program, which is called Planners Who Profit, right? Planners Who Profit, we help you build a profitable business. It just makes sense. So that's what we do here. Resources, both for couples who are getting married, corporations who are looking for an event planner, and for event planners who are looking for additional resources from us. All of that is in the description box. Paid resources like our Planners Who Profit live event in April in Miami. You don't want to miss that. And paid resources like our accelerator program, free resources like our playbook, free resources like joining our Instagram community, which, by the way, for those of you who are like, oh, I don't really read emails, I love being on Instagram though. I like getting DMs. Like I want to be in a broadcast channel. Make sure you sign up for the broadcast channel. The link is in the description, like I mentioned. I'm really excited to just stay connected with you guys, right? Answer your questions and just make sure you always know what's going on. All right. So that was the spiel about us, about our business, what we do. Today is Dear Event Planner, here's when to go full-time in business for day 9. All right. This is a big one. I think that is a crucial thing. And I may say some things that are unpopular, some things that may make you be like, oh man, but I'm going to tell you the truth based off of my own experience, but also things that I've observed with other planners, right? So I remember, I mentioned yesterday, I talked actually a lot about my journey to getting to the point of where I realized I needed to put more effort into my business, grow to a point that I'm able to actually pay myself a salary, right? I talked a lot about that. And I mentioned briefly that there was a period that I left my consulting job because honestly, they were wilding. They were coming up with some crazy rules that were not working for me. So I said, I'll leave. And I was on my own for a while in my business. And during that period, I realized, man, I did not set this business up for profit. Like I was fine, right? Rent was paid on time. Like I was good. But I realized that I was basically scraping month to month and I didn't want to continue like that. Right. And so, like I said, I got another job because I wanted the W-2, wanted to buy a house. And then after I got the job, I'm not even gonna lie, I became passionate about the mission of that company. It was a nonprofit, and it was nice, staying there for some time. And I found balance between my business and my job until it was time for me to leave. But one thing that I want to say is that a lot of people's experience with going full time is really tumultuous. Like I said, I went back to getting another job because I wanted the W-2. I wanted that consistent revenue. I wanted that, just to feel confident going into like owning a new home. And then, of course, like the process of buying a home and all of that, right? But for some people, what I've seen happen a lot, and I mentioned yesterday that a lot of people don't even make it past year 3, and even fewer people make it past year 5 in business. And a lot of people are like, I have this idea. I'm going to go into business. I'm going to go full time, jump off a cliff, going full time. You realize, oh, I don't have enough to pay myself. I'm going into debt. Like, I don't know how I'm going to make my next payments. Then you rush back to a job that you hate and just completely give up on the business because you're like, oh, it didn't work. Right. And that is like, for me, it crushes my soul when I hear that. Like literally, this happens a lot, right? A lot. It happens a lot. And that the reason that crushes my soul is that sometimes maybe it wasn't for you. Event planning is not for everybody. Everybody does not have to be an event planner forever. I'm the coach for event planners. Yes, you don't have to do this forever if you're not passionate about it. But if the only reason you quit is because your approach to going full time was wrong, and now you've completely given up on the one passion you have, and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to work in this job I hate forever. There's something about that that's kind of soul crushing. And I think the reason it feels soul crushing to me is because I don't know. I guess because I'm not living it, I don't know how. I don't think I would be happy with that. I don't know if I'd be like depressed or sad, but it's just I just have this desire. I want to live a big life. I want to live a happy life. Like I want to look back with no regrets. Like I want to know, that. And so, like I said, a big part of the reason I went into coaching is that I don't like to see businesses go out of business. Every time a business goes out of business, I feel sad. Always. Like when Sears started shutting down, I was like, Sears, I used to shop at Sears as a teenager. Aw, that sucks. And I feel even sadder when small businesses go out of business because I know that whoever the owner was working very hard on that business before it went out. Right. And so this is like my passion. And this is why I'm speaking from the perspective that I'm speaking from. Right. It's not, I don't get anything from holding you back or, for anything like that. I just want you to know that. All right. And I see some people on the live. Please, please, please don't forget. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. I always like to just see who's listening and all that good stuff. And if you have any questions, drop them. So what I believe is that you can build a profitable business that is paying you a livable salary part-time. Meaning, my definition of part-time is not spending 8 hours at your day job and then come home and spending 8 hours a day on your business. That is 4 hours or less per day, 5 days a week. That is part-time, right? And I'm not even gonna lie, when I was doing my business part-time, it was definitely less than 4 hours a day because like I mentioned the other day, I had choir practice like once or twice a week. And then I had, leadership meeting. And then like I just had other things going on during the week that cut into that 4 hours of time. And as a huge introvert, which I am. A lot of people don't believe me. I love people, but I'm introverted. Once I do one activity like that, where I'm singing and laughing and kikiing with people for a couple hours, when I get home, I'm going to bed. Like I don't have any energy to work, right? So I definitely was doing it in much less time. And if I did it, I believe you can do it. I believe you can do it, even especially when I hand people my tools, right? So here is why and not only do I believe that you can build a business that's paying you a full-time salary part-time, I believe that you should do it if you want to go full-time and never turn back. Right. I mentioned when I got that second job yesterday, I guess today's building a lot on yesterday, but I mentioned when I got that second job, when I got the second job and started shopping for a house and everything, that I told God, when I leave this job, whenever that is, whenever you release me to leave this job, I don't want to go back to corporate America ever. I don't ever want to have to go back. Right. And that's a bold statement, but I was just like, I don't want to be in and out. I don't want to be sort of like, I don't want that. I want to get to a point where I don't have to go back. And what made sense to me and what came to me then was then my business should be paying me enough for me to live on by the time I leave. So I don't have a reason to go back. consistently as well, so that even in downtimes, even in January when there's barely any events, and even in slower times, I have money, right? For my business. Like from my business, and I can live on that, and I don't have to go back to another day job, right? This is the vision, and that was pretty much the process I worked until I left, right? And so I believe you should do that. And it's very possible because, like I said, I did it, and I've coached clients to do the same thing. So build a six-figure business, a business that's paying them a salary part time. Many of these people, I don't have children yet, soon, God willing, but I don't have children yet. But my clients have children, young children who are demanding. They have demanding day jobs. They have all of these things. And for me, I believe in balance, which is why I put those restrictions. Part time means actual part time, right? Meaning 2 to 4 hours a day, right? Because you got other things going on. You have your husband, you got date night, you got your, maybe a volunteer opportunity. I don't recommend overextending yourself in volunteer activities, to be honest. That's a topic for another day. But you want to be involved in your community and do something, right? And I think that you have to make room for those things so that you're living life. You don't want to wait till you're 60 to start trying to live life, right? So I think that, for you, it's important to know that it's possible, it's doable, and people have done it before you. Now, this is what I think you need in order to feel ready to go full time. This is what I think everybody needs, these three things. Number one, like I said, your business should already be paying you enough to cover your living expenses for like monthly. You should already have a track record of paying yourself consistently and still having money left over in your bank account, right? Because I keep saying this, and a lot of times people are like, what does that mean? What that means is that every month you write a check to yourself of $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever it costs, and you keep writing that check every month, and you still have money left in your bank account for your other expenses for your business. That is what it looks like. That's what it looks like. It's really that simple, right? That is what it looks like. Now, for people that we work with, we do have a spreadsheet. It will also be sharing it for people who come to Planners Who Profit Live, a spreadsheet where you can track this and see what this looks like. But realistically, if you can pay yourself, if for 6 months at least, you are paying yourself consistently, you're not dipping, you're not paying yourself 4,000, then being like, oh, I need to invest back in the business and put 2,000 on my personal. You're not doing this back and forth. You are paying yourself. You're not going into debt with it. You're still able to pay your business expenses, like paying your assistants on event days, paying for your tools, paying for whatever coaching you have. You're able to pay for all of those things. You're ready to go full time, right? That's what it looks like. Number one. And you again, let's say you're like, oh, it costs me, I need to be able to pay myself 4,000 a month, and I'm at like 3,500 a month. I mean, that's close enough, right? That's close enough. So that the goal is to be very close to it or at it, right? That's really where you want to be. Now, I know I started with number one. I'm going to go backwards to step zero. Step zero to knowing how much to even pay yourself is to keep a personal budget. When you are an entrepreneur, when you are self-employed, your personal finances are very closely related to your business finances. So if you don't know, if I keep saying whatever it costs you to live, if you're like, I don't know what it costs me to live, you need to start tracking it. That's step zero. Start tracking it. I have an app on my phone. It's called Every Dollar. I got it a million years ago when I took Financial Peace University. And I've always been a relatively frugal person, but actually tracking my spending for a month or two was really eye-opening, and how much I was spending, particularly eating out, and a few other things. And it helped me to be more proactive in the way I was spending. But more than anything else, it helped me to set a realistic amount for what I was spending every month. I travel a lot. I mentioned that I travel a lot for leisure, girls' trips, going to see my family. Like, I travel a lot. And so I got to see, what does it cost me monthly, assuming that I'm traveling every 2 to 3 months, and I got somewhere to fly to every 2 to 3 months. What does that cost me? That means just about every month I'm either paying for a flight, or paying for a hotel, or paying for, Splitwise or whatever it costs me to eat on that trip. So I started budgeting. Okay, this is like my travel fund. This is what I got to put every month towards travel, and just be realistic. And I was able to build a realistic budget of what it costs for my lifestyle, right? And for what I'm doing. Now I said I cut down a lot on restaurants, so I didn't feel guilty for traveling. So that's a, but your personal finances are part of it. I cannot tell you what it costs you to live every month. You know, if you live with your boyfriend, you have a husband, or you have a roommate, like it's going to be different from someone who is single. I'm single with a mortgage. What it costs me to live every month is very different from what it costs someone with a roommate or someone who lives with their parents, or so, like you need to know your cost of what it costs to live every month, and then you'll be able to work backwards to figure out how do I continue to give myself a raise in my business to the point that I can pay myself every month and know I can live off of this moving forward. All right. So if that makes sense, number one, you got to figure out, you got to pay yourself consistently monthly. I would recommend for at least 6 months. Maybe if you want to cheat, maybe 4 months, paying yourself a consistent salary from your business that does not change, and you still have money left over for your expenses and to pay taxes. Taxes is one of your expenses. Then that's number one. All right. For those of you guys who are on the live who just joined, please mention in the chat where you're tuning in from. Just put your city and your state. I'd love to see where you're from. All right. So that's number one. Number two is I personally recommend having at least 3 months of savings. In addition to, yes, you have enough to live on, but also having 3 months of savings just stacked up. So let's say you say, oh, it costs me $4,000 a month to live, right? That's what I get from my day job, and that's been covering everything. Or, I built my budget and I know this is what it costs me to live every month. Then you should have $12,000 in your savings account. I know for some people that sounds wild. You've never seen $12,000 in one account, but this is the big leagues. Like going full time is a big deal, right? And you're going to feel a lot more confident and less scared knowing that you have a cushion. And I'm not going to lie to you, at some point, you're probably going to need it for one thing or another, right? I mean, all kinds of stuff, just depending on what's going on with you. Like for me, last year I had to replace my whole AC unit. We're not going to talk about what that costs, but just know I had to do it because it was, summer was summering last year. It was blazing hot, and I wasn't gonna get a heat stroke, because I couldn't replace my AC unit. So I had to come up with that money, right? This is what your nest egg, like having that available, is from. Yes, a lot of times it's like, yeah, make sure you have $1,000 in a savings account. That's for people who are, that's a starting point. But if you want to go out on your own and you want to feel safe and feel confident and feel bold and avoid the cycle of going full time and then going into scarcity and then having super cheap prices out of panic or whatever, you need to have that nest egg available for you, right? And you should only really use it for emergencies. Don't use it to buy a Gucci purse. Like, use it for emergencies. Use it to cover things that come up, right? That's number two. A lot of people, a lot of traditional advice says that you should have 6 months of savings, and I agree with that. I just think that for most people, I just feel like most people don't ever get there. Like, for a lot of people, that just sounds extreme. I recommend 6 months. Like 6 months would be the ideal. That's where you get like an A plus. But 3 months of savings is like a B. It's like a B. That's enough of a cushion if you are also already paying yourself enough to live on at the same time that you have that much saved up, then that's good. Now, if you are jumping out the window and you're just hoping to get some sales to cover you, I mean, 6 months I don't even think is enough. But yeah, definitely you need at least 6 months or more. But if you've already built yourself up, right, to the point that you're paying yourself a consistent salary from your business, which you can 100% do part-time, even if you only have 2 to 3 hours a day, you can, right? Then yeah, I think 3 months should be the bare minimum. So you can do it. If you're like, oh, I can't stand at my job, it's toxic, I'm stressed out, I'm just ready to go, you can absolutely do that, right? So that's number two. Now, the third thing that you need before you go full time, and a lot of people skip this. A lot of people think that some magic door is going to open when you go full time. Like, I'm going to go full time, and then, the reason I'm not getting the clients I want is because I'm not full time. But your clients don't know that unless you're broadcasting it. They don't know that. Very few people are going to ask you, "Are you full time?" Like, no, right? So no magic door is going to open, and that's what leads me to step number three. Number three, you need to have a clear plan about how going full time is going to help your business move forward. What that means is you should already have a roadmap of what you're going to do. Like, okay, I've already learned A, B, and C. I just need more time to execute. So I'm going to go full time and execute. Because what I also see a lot of people doing, and I'm speaking as a coach, right? We have a coaching program, I mentioned our 6-month accelerator. A lot of people will go full time, then realize, oh, I don't have a plan for how I'm moving forward, and I'm draining my savings, and I need something as an emergency, right? And then come to a program like mine, and then say, oh, this is exactly what I need, but I don't have the money. Like, you gotta, like they always say, you gotta spend money to make money, right? It costs, it takes effort and it takes resources to give you like the straight up blueprint and to really coach you into your next level, right? Why not do that while you also have your day job? That's what people mean when they say, let your day job fuel your passion. Let your day job give you the money, like do all the stuff you gotta do. Just like I use my day job time, I was like, first of all, I kind of fell in love with the mission of that organization I was working with. But for me, it was just like, as soon as I'm able to, I'm gonna purchase a home because I don't think I'm ever coming back to corporate America again. So let me at least get a home. Let me at least get like this, get a home, put significant equity in that. Like, let me at least set myself up right for success so that I'm not worrying about, oh, I don't have a house because entrepreneurs, they don't like, no, I've already thought ahead and set myself up for that. The time for most people, not everybody, because we have a lot of people who are full time in our coaching program, but that's because they have good savings and because their business is already making a good amount of money, right? But if you're like in a place where you're just like, oh man, my business is struggling, but I have this day job, use it. That's the word leverage is using things that you have to get what you want. It's the ultimate cheat code. Even in the Bible, most miracles are using things that people had to get the next thing. The prophet, God, whoever gave, jars of oil, a staff, like use what you have to unlock your next level. For many of you, you're just complaining about a job that, yes, it's annoying. It may be annoying, but you're not using it. You're not leveraging it for your next step, right? So unlock what do I need to learn? Let me learn what I need to learn. Let me put systems in place. Let me structure everything. And then, yes, I've gone as far as I can go with this 4 hours a day. And if I had more time, I would spend that time putting more effort into my SEO strategy. I would spend that time spending more time doing these things that are working, but really pouring the fuel on them to make it work even better, right? Because I have more time to execute. You should know what those things are. You should know at least a couple. I'm not saying you should know like the ultimate roadmap for the rest of your life, but you should have a plan, not just quitting on a whim. And this is what I recommend. Now, there are always caveats to these rules. I think that, if you're working on Wall Street and you're working 16-hour days and you barely have time to sleep, no, you don't have 4 hours a day to work part-time in your business, right? The first step is probably going to be to get another job, right? That has more realistic hours for you to manage. Or if you're working in a place like that that's so demanding, but that's also paying you incredible amounts of money and giving you insane bonuses, save that money, right? So that you can have maybe a 12-month savings, right? For your 12-month savings plan, and then you can quit and then focus on these things, right? But there are some caveats, but for most people who are working a job that demands about 8 to 9 hours a day from you, what I've given you is what you should shoot for. This is it, right? This is how you pull yourself up. This is how you know when you're ready, right? Now, I know there's a few people on. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Just a reminder, YouTube does have a bit of a lag. So I'm asking if you have any questions now, and I'm going to give it a minute or two. And if I don't see any, then we're going to end the live stream for today. But this is the blueprint, right? Again, just to summarize, number one is, you want to get to the point where you're paying yourself enough to live on already part-time or at least close to it. And it should be something realistic, right? Like I would say 5,000 or under, everybody can live on that, right? Unless your lifestyle is like super, super, super exorbitant, like, but something realistic, like 5K, somewhere between 3,500 to 5K. I think just about everybody can do that. If it's significantly more than that, then you might want to curb it for a little bit while your business ramps up. That's number one. The reason I say this is that if your business is bringing in about 100K a year, that's what you're going to be able to afford to pay yourself, somewhere between 3,500 and 5,000 a month, right? That's realistically after your expenses and taxes and all of that. So that's number one, paying yourself a consistent salary. Number two is having a savings account, not $1,000, not $500, at least 3 months of living expenses, realistic living expenses. Don't just estimate that it costs you 2,000 a month and toss 6,000 in a savings account that you're going to blow through in a month, right? Or a month and a half. So make sure that you're realistic about that, build that nest egg. And the third thing is have a plan. Like do the work before you go full time of, okay, this is where I'm headed. This is what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing. These are my limitations because of time. These are the things I couldn't get to because I didn't have enough time. And when I go full time, this is what I'm going to pour myself into with that extra time. Because just because you have extra time doesn't mean it's gonna like produce anything for you, right? You still need a plan. And I'm gonna tell you from experience, it is actually harder to structure your day when you're full time than when you have those hard constraints. That hard constraint of, okay, I leave work at 5, I'm gonna get home at 5:30. I have a meeting 5:30 to 6:30, and then I have 6:30. I gotta, prepare meals for my family and have meals with them until 7:30, and then 8 o'clock to 9. I'm gonna reply to these emails and go to bed. Like those constraints actually force you to be it makes it easier sometimes to be productive. So if you decide to throw away those constraints, have no plan, you could find yourself in la la land full time and just be like, what happened to me? Right. And it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's just going from so much structure to no structure can be incredibly disorienting when you don't have a plan, especially when you don't have a plan. And so this is the lesson, right? I hope this has been helpful for you. Don't forget there are resources in the description for event planners. Make sure you go in there, join the broadcast channel, download the playbook. Those two are free. Learn more about our 6-month accelerator program. It's phenomenal. The results are phenomenal. The results are resulting. They result every year. People doubling, tripling, 4xing even more their business within a matter of months. It's amazing. And also the big, big, big one. Don't miss Planners to Profit Live in April. Make sure you check the description, learn more about it, register, all that good stuff. And if you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram. All right. So make sure you also subscribe, like. I know it's a lot of instructions, but I've said it 14 times. I'm going to say it 14 times. So you could choose 1 or 2 instructions per video to do. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question that I can answer in the Q&A later. And I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Cheers and enjoy the rest of your day.